sat and talked to this lady. I wish I could have talked to that family a little more. I wish I could have checked the lab work on this person. You know, we beat ourselves up for that, and that's too bad. You know, we don't say, hey, I left here and all my patients are alive. One of our night shift nurses has a t-shirt that says, I work night shift. I keep them alive till 7:25. It's like, that's pretty good, something to be said for that. But it's okay to cry like that on your way home from work. If you're crying like that, though, on your way to work, that's real bad, okay? That means you probably looked at the schedule, okay? That is what that means. But we laugh together. How many times do you get together with people from work and you say, oh, if it's like a cookout or a party or something like that, and we usually say, okay, nobody talk about work. Let's not talk about work. I don't want to talk about that damn place tonight. And we go, okay. And then what are you doing 5 minutes later? You're talking about work. Because we all get it. We all understand that. Our families and our partners, spouses, whatever, try to be supportive about it, but our co-workers know exactly what we're talking about. A nurse I worked with in the ER for a long time, she was going to be in her brother's wedding. She was 45. He didn't get married till he was 40. Had a great big wedding. She was a bridesmaid. He asked her to give the wedding toast. So they have this huge wedding and this huge reception. So she's nervous when she gets reception. It's like 500 people. So public speaking is the #1 fear that people have. So she's like, I'm going to have 2 or 3 gin and tonics to kind of calm down a little bit. And it works pretty good. So anyway, it's time for her to do the talk, and she gets up, like on the dais, there's like 30 people in this wedding party. She's been an ER nurse 20 years. She gets up on the dais, and she's supposed to say, I want to wish the best in the world to my brother Mike and my new sister-in-law Phyllis. That's what she's supposed to say. But she says, I want to wish the best in the world to my brother Mike and my new sister-in-law Syphilis. And then she bust out laughing. And she said she just laughed so hard thinking, this is going to be so funny at work. And it was, but it wasn't funny there. So anyway, and like the people who weren't paying attention are now really trying to strain to check out Phyllis and see what she looks like. And Melanie just laughing and wheezing and everything and stuff. And we thought it was hysterical, but she'd come to work and we'd say, how's Phyllis? And she'd say, not good. Because Phyllis thought she did it on purpose. And she was nervous. And who else but a nurse routinely says, syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, trichomonas. It's like you're calling your kids or something. It is. It's just crazy. We can't, some of the stuff. Actually, I'll tell you this because I got a flight of ideas. I'm off my meds. And we had a lady comes up to the desk at the ER and I say, can I help you? And she goes, yeah, I'm having trouble down south. I said, we're not talking Georgia, are we? She said, more like Tennessee. So anyway, so they bring her back. It was a couple hours later. The doc said, will you go in there with me when I talk to her? So we go in there. And there was a visitor sitting in the chair, another lady. And the doctor said to the visitor, he said, ma'am, would you mind waiting outside? And the patient goes, that's my sister. She can stay here. I don't mind. And he said, well, I have some personal information to go over. And she goes, that's okay. So he says to the patient, he said, ma'am, I'm sorry, but you tested positive for gonorrhea. Her sister goes, oh, we know all about that. That runs in our family. My sisters and I are real susceptible to it. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up, all right? But anyway, Patricia Benner, wrote a book called From Novice to Expert, where she talked about nurse-type behaviors. And I always like to point these out. I do a lot of like nurses week talks and nurses day talks, like recognition things, stuff like that, because sometimes nurses forget or they're not reminded or whatever, or don't know some of the things they do. But 2 things I always point out, and that is nursing intuition and critical thinking, all right? That nurses do, that this is from on-the-job experience through years and years of taking care of patients. What do you think critical thinking? If I go to work I go to work on Monday, and I would say in the huddle, okay, you guys, tell me how you use critical thinking, and what does critical thinking mean to you? And give me an example of it. They would say, I don't know, we get a class on it in school or something. Is there a module on the computer we need to do? Why, did somebody complain about something? That's exactly what they would say, okay? But if I would say, okay, let's say you're on the floor and you're taking care of an 82-year-old guy who had a TURP done yesterday. This morning he's awake, he's confused, he's standing at the edge, he's standing near the bed. He can go as far as his Foley will allow him to go, and the tubing looks like clothesline going back to his bed, and he's yelling for Blanche to get out of the kitchen and for the dog to come in, and he's confused and disoriented and ready to fight you, and it's 8 o'clock in the morning. What's going on with him? Well, what could it be? He could be having a TIA, he could be showering emboli, he could be septic, obviously, he could be bleeding, he could be an atrial fib, he could be having a drug reaction, he could have an anesthesia reaction, he could be hypoglycemic, he could be a sundowner that's kind of got his days and nights mixed up. All those things automatically nurses think of and know, and you sort of forget that, that you have that ability to do that critical thinking. What about intuition? Every nurse in this room has encountered a patient before where you say, you know what? Man, there's something not right with this lady here. I don't know what it is. There's something wrong. She doesn't look right. She's not acting right. I've taken care of her 2 other times before. There's something wrong here. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I got a bad feeling about this patient. And I kid about our doctors, but our doctors listen up if a nurse says they got a bad feeling about somebody. A lot of our doctors will say, I hate it when a nurse says, I got a bad feeling about a patient, because something's going down and we don't know really what it is. And be very proud of those 2 things that you do as a nurse, because you sort of forget about that, and it's almost an automatic thing. And Patricia Benner, this book's been out like 35 years, but it's kind of a nice thing to point that out. I have some nurse-type behaviors that are not in Patricia Benner's book, okay? And those are the things we do, the things nurses say, our families and our children, God help them, okay? Let's start out with our families and children. Usually family members and children of nurses know when they become sick or injured, they're going to hear one of 3 responses from their parent nurse, okay, or family member nurse. They're going to hear one of 3 responses from us. The first one is, I've seen worse. Okay? The second one is, get over it. Okay? And the third one is, take some ibuprofen. Okay? Ibuprofen cures everything in a nurse's mind. I would like a show of hands. How many of you have had ibuprofen in your body in the past 24 hours and or on you right now? Okay, look at the room, people. Look at the room. In 10 years, I'll see you all in dialysis. Or endoscopy, one of the 2. I don't know which one. But, we are that way with our kids. I sent my daughter to school on a broken ankle when she was 13. I dropped her off. She's walking across the schoolyard, and I'm like, man, she walks just like a fracture walks. I don't know how she knew how to do that. She's not putting any weight bearing on it at all. Man, she's good. She's good. She's a good faker. Okay? So I go to work, and school calls me, and they said, could you come and pick her up? And I said, she can't make it until 2:30. And they said, well, it's 8:45. I'm like, your point would be, okay. So I go pick her up. When I get there, she's pale and diaphoretic and a little vagal, and I'm like, oh, I wonder if she's getting the flu too. So when she hurt her ankle, and I took her to the ER, and the doc said, Meredith, what'd your dad say when you fell and broke your ankle? And she looked at me and looked at him, and he said, don't think you're not going to school tomorrow. She goes, I was still laying on the ground. Like, right me up. I said, I can tell you for sure, every nurse in this country will back me up. Because that's what we've done. How about the things we do? Nurses are great people watchers. We are immensely content to sit in a large gathering of people at a mall, at an airport, An amusement park, a casino is a gold mine. Gold mine. And watch the people walk by and just check them all out. Church is a really good place to listen for breath sounds. I'm serious, because when people are praying, I'm like, I hear wheezing. I hear wheezing somewhere. And I'm Catholic, so as they're going up for communion, I'm looking at their ankles, I'm like, there goes 4 plus communion. She don't need communion, she needs LASIK probably. Who else does that? What other profession does that? You ever meet anybody and you go and you shake their hand and you're like, oh, nice veins. I could get a 14 in that puppy right there. I know I'm just riding the elevator with you, sir. You don't know me, but let me hit that damn thing. I don't even need a turning pin. Okay? But we do that. I don't know what that is. Another nurse type behavior. How many of you sign RN after your name on your check? And then another one is, and I always tell people this, no matter how, when you're working, if you ever have a nurse come into a doctor's office as a patient, a nurse is admitted to your unit in the hospital, or a nurse comes in the emergency room, always thoroughly evaluate that nurse 100%, because we have to be half dead before we would ever go to the doctor, much less be admitted or come to the emergency room. Is that not right? We truly get that. So if they come in, something really happens to them. But you know what? No matter how half dead, no matter how half dead you are, you can be laying on your living room couch. The squad is there to pick you up. Your pressure's 80/40. You're modeled up to the nipple line. Heart rate's 120. You're sat at about 75%. The stretcher's right there. And the nurse patient goes, hold on, I got to call first and see who's working. Hold on. Hold on. Just hold on. And then you go, yeah, don't put me in 7. Everybody dies in 7. Yeah, and 12 is haunted. Don't put me in 8. And you're like, and then you go, okay, thanks. And you say to the squad, I'm sorry, we gotta wait till 7. But I mean, we do that stuff. I don't know what other profession does that. Okay, and then the next one is the things that we say. First part of this story, nothing funny about it, but I was working, this again was an evening shift, and got there about 5 minutes early, and they said, we're getting a trauma arrest into trauma 2, you better go in there. So, and I was in charge of it. So I go in, they bring in this teenager, he's like 18 years old, was on a bike, hit by a car. This kid was driving down the sidewalk on his bike, riding down the sidewalk, and an impatient driver did not want to wait for a car to turn and drove up on this sidewalk to go around the car and hit this kid and killed him. I mean, he's a trauma arrest, 99% of them died. And we worked on him, and this was years ago, and parents were there, they were devastated, and we were, and that's how you start out your shift. And I mean, it was awful, 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 awful. Nothing funny about that, off limits. And so we're just trying to get through that. And the family finally left after a couple hours, and we've still got to work the rest of, until 11 o'clock. And it isn't the other patient's fault or the other visitor's fault. So we're trying to get through the shift and trying to get through. And one nurse was getting off duty at 10. She said, my husband's picking me up, and we're going to meet up at this one bar. And the other 4 nurses on duty said, we'll be there at 11 o'clock. We are giving like a 30-second report to night shift because we want to get the hell out, okay? And so they came in, we gave a report, and we left. So when we got there, once it got off at 11, the first nurse was a couple beers ahead of us, okay? So we are nice people. We did not want her to feel left out or nothing, okay? So we're drinking too. Now today, there's programs on critical incident stress management, and I've led those and gone to those. But back in the day, that's kind of what you did in moderation and stuff. You know, and it's okay to do it today as long as it's in check. So anyway, so we're there, and we're talking about everything except what's on our mind. And we're slamming down a few beers, I'll be honest with you. And you know, it's just like, what? It was awful, awful, awful. And we're talking about everything except what's on our mind. And finally, after about an hour or so, it got kind of quiet all of a sudden. And we looked at each other, and the first nurse who had been there the longest kind of looked down, and she was looking down at her beard, and she said, "I am so upset about that young guy." And we said, "Yeah, I know what you mean." And the first nurse said, "I hope they charge that driver with ventricular homicide." I kid you not, the other 4 nurses go, "I hope so too." And the first nurse said, "What's the penalty for ventricular homicide?" We're like, "It's like 10 or 20 years, something like that." And finally the husband goes, "Can I ask a question?" He goes, "Don't y'all mean vehicular homicide?" And we're like, "No, we liked ventricular." You know? It had a little bit of a ring to it. So anyway, through the years, I just have happened to be a person who's collected stories. I wrote them down. I started writing them down in 1979, and I know you two weren't born yet, so that's okay. And so because I didn't keep a diary or a journal, but I just wanted to remember a sentence or two or something a patient said. So that's what some of these are from here. So I was working night shift, worked nights most of my career. So anyway, we had about 1 in the morning, we got a little nun in who had fallen and broken her hip, as opposed to a big nun. And so we get her all checked in, and I realized this nun used to work at the hospital years and years before that. She's 95 years old. Her weight is about 80 pounds. She used to run the hospital. She ran the school of nursing. She was the OB supervisor, all that stuff. And nowadays, when she came in then, she came in like and gave out communion once or twice a week, and that was about it. So she had fallen and broken her hip. So I get her all situated on bed 3. We called the orthopod, who was actually scrubbed in another case at another hospital. He didn't even break scrub, but he said, "Keep her there." He knew her. He said he would see her there by morning, keep her in the ER. So we get her all situated in on bed 3, and just as she's all kind of tucked and rubbed and buffed and tucked and all that stuff, the doors burst open, and Covington Life Squad comes in with this stripper who is drunk and who has taken an overdose. And she comes to the door, and she's screaming and yelling and biting and cussing and kicking and spitting. And I have no place to put her but on bed 4, right next to Sister on bed 3, with one thin curtain separating the 2 of them. So I'm now fighting with the stripper. This is when we use leather restraints. We had to restrain her. She's trying to hit everybody. We had to lavage her. We're trying to get, electrodes on her, IVs in her, Foley, that kind of stuff, which we're going to have to lavage her. She is yelling the F word at like 3 and 4 octaves high, and I wanted her intubated. I was worried about her airway. And so we didn't do that and stuff, and so we're fighting and everything, and I would see Sister, I'd pass her periodically, and I looked, and she had a rosary in her hand, and Sister would just shake her head and look down. I didn't even have time to apologize to her. So I'm fighting with this stripper. It's going on for 2 or 3 hours. The supervisor calls. She says, "I got an intensive care unit bed for the overdose if you want to bring her up." I'm like, "Thank you." She knew how busy we were. So I take the overdose up, and I come back, and the curtains open. There lay Sister on her stretcher, and the room's a disaster. There's activated charcoal and emesis and blood and tubes, everything all over the place. So I push the empty stretcher in, and Sister motions me to come over, and I thought, oh my gosh, she's going to give me help for putting that patient right next to her. So I walked over and I said, "Yes, Sister, can I help you?" And she took my hand and she said, "Young man, I just wanted to say, thank the dear Lord that woman finally had her baby." I'm like, oh yeah. And I'm thinking, now I'm lying to a nun. I'm Catholic. This isn't good here, okay? And she goes, "It was breech, wasn't it?" And she said, I could tell by her degree of difficulty. And I'm like, "Sister, you still got it going on." So thank you so much. And I thought, where else in this world could you have more of a dichotomy of 2 lives? they could not be more opposite than each other, and they're 3 feet apart from each other. I mean, here you have this one woman who has spent her entire adult life serving her fellow man, and then you have the nun. And so, that's called a book. All right? I like it when patients will pick out medical terms and they want to kind of pronounce them for like a treatment or a procedure, and they leave them into something that they can say. It kind of makes them in the groove, and I kind of collect some of these, and they beeped one morning. There's a patient out front. It's probably about 5:30 in the morning. I walked out there. You'll know this patient. These two want to tell you. There's an 85-year-old man sitting in the triage chair who has a suit on to come to the emergency room. Do you not know that patient, right? Pardon me. His little wife is standing behind him. She's got her little white gloves on and her little hat, and they smell like mothballs, you know, and stuff. You know the couple. And I said, hi. I said, can I help you? And he didn't say anything. He's just kind of looking. I said, can I help you? And he didn't say anything. And I looked at the wife and I said, can I help you? And she goes, yes, he's Oriental. And she points down at him. And I said, what? And she goes, he's Oriental. And points down. And I looked down at him and I thought, he don't look Oriental. And I said, ma'am, I don't understand what you're saying. And she said, he woke up Oriental, okay? And so I looked at him and I said, well, how was he when he went to bed? She said, he wasn't Oriental then, but he's Oriental now, and I want you all to check him out. And I said, okay, we will. We sure will. And I walked in the back, and the doc says, what's out there? And I said, I don't know. And he goes, I thought you checked the patient. I said, I did. He's awake. He's got a pulse. He's breathing. I don't know what he's saying. He goes, take a guess. I said, no clue. What was she actually saying? He's disoriented. I had never heard of Oriental for disoriented. So I guess at that point, I too was Oriental. You know? So whatever it was contagious or something like that. I had one girl who said, I'm hurting in my semi-privates. I know right where the privates are, okay? The semi-part, I'm a little unclear on, okay? Because what was always private is now kind of semi-private when you think about it. I had another lady brought her husband in. She said, I said, what's going on? And she said, he done fell out. The guy didn't look good. She had him in a wheelchair. And I said, of what? And she said, no, he done fell out. And I said, what did he fall out of? And she looks at me because I'm thinking, if he fell out of a car or a window or something, I got to call trauma alert. It's an elderly gentleman. She said, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I said, where were you at when this happened? She said, we were sitting in church. I said, so he fell out of the pew? She said, yes, sir, but he had done fell out before he fell out of the pew. She's exactly right. She is exactly right. And you do have to know what people are talking about. I mean, we kind of kid about things and stuff sometimes, but you have to know what patients and their families are talking about. And when patients feel intimidated or their families, they won't say anything. We have a lot of Appalachian culture where I work at. I'm not making fun. Those are my people. And sometimes a lady will come in and she'll say, yeah, I just want to let you know I've been coming around in a while. And you're like, that's okay, we didn't miss you. But what did she just tell me? She hasn't had her period. Yeah, do you know her by any chance too? She's coming up here. But they'll say that. And you have to know what, the culture, obviously, and what people are talking about. We had a lady brought her, she was from what we call a holler somewhere in Kentucky, somewhere like in the mountains or whatever, brought her daughter in. And her daughter had acute abdomen. She's about 16 years old, and the mom was real sweet, but a very uneducated person. I'm not putting her down. Those are the people I take care of. And the doctor who we had was from upstate New York. He went to pre-med, I think, at Brown, and then he went to NYU Medical Center. Now he's working nights in Covington, Kentucky, emergency room. And he comes in the room. This girl's she's really hurt, and he said, "Has she ever had any abdominal surgeries?" And the mom goes, "No." which kind of means I don't know what you're talking about. And he's feeling around and he says, she ever had acute appendicitis? The mom goes, no. And he said, has she ever had intercourse? The mom goes, no, but doctor, if you think she needs any of that, just give it to her. Like, okay, let's back up just a little bit. Okay. I'm like, yeah, I could have told you that. Anyway, there was this video is not on YouTube anymore, but I like stuff about the royal family. There was a really neat video. I wish every nurse could see it. It was taken down about 2 years ago. But the Queen of England she's 91 years old. You know, when you're a nurse, you're skewed as to what a 91-year-old looks like. You're jaded that way. And she's 91. And anyway, she goes to see everybody in England who turns 100 or sends them a card. And this is kind of a little thing she does under the radar. So they hit this video, and there was a 100-year-old lady in this wheelchair in the hallway, and the Queen was coming to wish her happy birthday. So here comes the Queen, and she's all decked out. And so she bends down. I can't imitate her accent, but she says to this 100-year-old lady, she says, hello. And the 100-year-old lady said, hello. And the Queen said, do you know who I am? And the 100-year-old lady said, no, I don't, but if you ask at the desk, they'll tell you. Is that good or what? Okay. That's where my daughter would say, Dad, oh snap. Okay. And the Queen started, because the lady knew how it worked. She'd been asked that before in that hallway, hadn't she? You know, do you know who I am? And she started laughing, and the Queen's laughing, and you're not supposed to touch people in the royal family. And this 100-year-old lady, she's laughing. She does not have a tooth in her head, and she's patting the Queen's face. And as a nurse, I thought, oh, I hope she hasn't been digging. Yeah, I said it. You're the only group of people in the entire population that synapse fires on. And you knew exactly what I was talking about. Isn't your family proud of your nursing career? Some of you act like you were grossed out, and I know that isn't true. We're the only group of people that can carry a bedpan full of GI bleeding stool and have a mouthful of Doritos at the same time. Just go down the hall and not think anything about it. We're the only people that do that, all right? The only ones, all right? He uses a provolone inhaler. That might be why that asthma's not getting any better. I got vomiting in the diarrhea. We have DOA in Kentucky. We have DRT. That's dead right there. Y'all can use that. We did DRT, just dead right there. And one patient, I brought her back. I like my psych patient. She said, I am crazy. I said, that's okay. She said, I mean, I am really crazy. I said, that's all right. She said, hell, I'm tripolar, okay? Whoa, okay. She said, put that on my damn chart. This is when we had clipboards, so I wrote on there, history of tripolar disorder. And I showed it to her, and she goes, you're the first one that ever did that. Thank you very damn much. She said, you are very damn welcome. She said, I kind of like you, but I bet your mother's ugly. I said, it's the little things that keep me in this job. So I went out, I put the chart in the rack, and the doctor said, what the heck is tripolar? He said, I think it might be 33% more worser than bipolar. Just a thought right there. Okay. My girlfriend has mental problems. She's bipolaroid. Y'all know what a Polaroid is? Just check. Okay. There's a rusty nail, so I know I need a technical shot. I had a linguini hernia down there. Yes, sir, that's an inguinal hernia. I don't think we're going to the Olive Garden this week. I must be allergic to bread. I just keep getting yeast infections. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. We had a drunk guy brought in with the head injury. I don't know if you're noticing a theme here or not, but he was actually pretty nice. And again, I'm not a judgmental person. If you work in nursing, it's a bad place for you if you are. And he was very drunk. He said, I'm sorry, I went out with my high school buddies. And he said, we were drinking. My wife knew where I was at. I had a designated driver. And after this, it was a high school reunion. He was like in his 40s. They went to this bar and they were drinking and stuff. And somebody at a couple tables down got in a fight and threw this big beer mug and hit this guy. And he had a great big like parietal laceration. And so we brought him back and get him all cleaned up and everything. And we CT'd and got a blood alcohol and vital him, all those kind of things. And it took a while to suture him. So he was there a couple hours. So I set him up on the side stretcher and I said, who can I call to come pick you up? He said, well, my buddies brought me in. They should still be back out there. Working nights most of my career, I know one drunk is often brought in by another equally as drunk. They travel in pairs, okay? Or what sometimes happens is one drunk brings in the injured drunk, and then the first drunk goes back to the party. They just leave him there at the bar. So I thought, oh, this will be interesting. He may not have a rider, I may have two drunks. So we go out the lobby. He sees his friend and goes over and starts talking to him. And I print off the discharge instructions. So I went over to his friend. I said, would you ever take him home all right? And he said, yeah. And the patient was married. I said, he can't just like go home and go to bed or sleep on the porch. I said, he's been hit in the head and he's been drinking a lot. Somebody needs to watch him tonight, be with him, bring him back if there's a problem. So I said, make sure his wife is awake and reads this here. And here's my number on here. I'm here till 7:30. He said, okay, so off they go. So about an hour later, I go back out to get another patient. And I look at the guy that's a driver sitting back out in the lobby, and I said, oh, did you have to bring him back? He said, no, I got him home all right. And I said, okay, can I ask what you're doing back here? He said, my wife's back there with stomach pain. I said, did you bring both patients in tonight? He said, no, I never saw that guy before in my life. What do you mean? What? And he goes, no, I didn't know that guy. I said, I thought he was your friend. He walked up to me and said, could I have a cigarette? And I told him, no, I don't smoke. And then you walked up and said, well, you think you're taking it home? He said, I figure I've been sitting here all night. What the hell? And I'm thinking, I sent a patient home with the wrong damn family. Like, how does that happen? Going out the door, they didn't go, I don't know him. Yeah, and his wife liked to die when I woke her up. I said, why did you wake her up? Because you told me to read that paper to her. And he said he couldn't make it up the steps, so he told me to go up as the first bedroom on the right. Oh, dear God. I woke her up, she put her glasses on, and she put her teeth in, and she read that paper. I'm like, truly, the best writers in Hollywood cannot make this up. I mean, they cannot make this up. So I'll be done here within 10 minutes, just so you know. Oh, this one you know too. Yeah, because it's KY, they'll say Kentucky Jelly. I'm like, no, it's not. Anyway, I'll preface this next slide. Lady came in, blew her abdominal pain, we brought her right back. The clerk comes back and she goes, can you talk to her husband? He's really mad about her care. And I said, we saw her getting out of the car and coming in, she was all doubled over. We took her right back. And she said, well, he wants to talk to who's ever in charge, and I was in charge that night. So I was like, well, I mean, they're getting her taken care of it. So I said, okay. So I thought maybe just once a vent. So I go out there, and he said, yeah, I didn't want to bring her back, and y'all think y'all know what you're doing, and that thing they did, it didn't do any good. And sometimes people, it's their family, and and he's not being physical or threatening, and he's just kind of going on and stuff. And I said, okay, well, we'll get her taken care of. And I said, I'll let you come back there in just a minute. I said, they're having the doctor see her now. They just give me a minute, and then I'll bring you back. And he said, well, that thing that doctor did the other night, it didn't do any good. She ain't no better. She's just really hurting and everything. And I said, well, did she have surgery or what? And he goes, no. He said, the doctor, the other night he checked her, and he came out and told me he checked her over real good. And while she was back there, she had a pelvic Shazam. She ain't no better. And he's going on and on and on. And I'm standing there going, he meant pelvic exam? And he said she had a pelvic Shazam? And I'm just standing there, and the only thing I could think of was, God watches out for nurses, because I thought, thank God I am standing in the lobby and I am not around another nurse. When a bomb drops like this. When you're by yourself, and they drop something like this, it's like, okay, hold it in. But when they drop a bomb like this, and there's two nurses in the room, and one nurse is not in the patient's visual field, but you are in the patient's visual field, it's like, oh, I'm going to act like I'm charting. I see you behind her waving at me. And, oh, I see you. Now you're going to swim. Oh, now you're doing the hokey pokey. I tell you what, as soon as this lady turns her head, I'm going to flip you off. So later on that night, I told the female nurses, I told what this husband said. So they told the male physician, they said, you know what? They said, you know, Dr. Gilliam, if you got time, we'd kind of like a pelvic shazam. Maybe we should offer that and help get our customer satisfaction scores. Maybe fresh baby stores will go up. All right. Smile Almighty Jesus, that's spinal meningitis. All true. I got fireballs of the Eucharist. That's fibroids of the uterus. I'm allergic to Vicodin 5 milligrams, but I can take the second one. Good to know. Okay. We had a little lady who came in who was a full arrest on one Sunday morning on her way home from church. Got the call, got everything ready. She had a significant downtime, worked on her, did a round of drugs. She was asystole from the whole time, and she was in a car, and they drove to the firehouse and stuff. So anyway, so we pronounced her, told her husband, the minister was with her. This lady was 89, I think. And the husband said, my daughter's a nurse here. And I said, who's that? And he said, Brendan. He said her last name. And I knew her, and he said she was on her way down. And this was before cell phones and stuff. And I said, I'll watch for Brenda. So about 10 minutes later, I see Brenda coming through the door. And I said, hey, Brenda, I was taking care of your mom. And she goes, did she die? And I said, yes, I'm really sorry. And you know, she kind of broke out, not sobbing, but just cried. And, you know, that's never easy. And I just hugged her, and we kind of just stood there off to the side a little bit. And she goes, was it quick? I said, Brenda, apparently it was. And she said, good. She said, my mom had an inoperable thoracic aneurysm that was like getting bigger, and we hoped it would die. She would die in her sleep. And I said, well, it was quick. And Brenda goes, so she died on her way home from church. And I said, yeah, that's what they said. And Brenda goes, that looks good, doesn't it? And I go, yeah, because I'll probably fall off a bar stool and have a subdural. And she goes, that's what I'm thinking too. Okay? And I'm like, again, only nurses think that way. And she goes, I'm glad it was quick. So anyway, so we go into the room to see her father, and they cry and everything. And she said, you know, Danny, what happened? You know how, bless her heart, little people, how they start telling the story. And he said, so I said, where do you want to go to breakfast? And she said, how about if we go to the Waffle House? And I said, well, we have gift cards to the Waffle House, but, you know, we didn't bring them. So how about if we go to Frisch's or Bob Evans? And she said, well, the last time we went there, you got sick. How about if we go over to Linus? If we go, you know, how they're telling the story. Of course, I want to go, someone just died. Okay, could you move this on here a little bit? And he said, and he goes, I went to turn the corner, and your mother just slumped over. And he said, I looked right down at her. Her eyes were wide open. Her pupils were dilated, and she was gone, Brenda. I could tell she was gone. He said, I didn't know what else to do. He said, so I pulled him. And so I was in Latonia. He said there was a train. I had to go under the underpass. I was trying to get to the firehouse, trying to get there as quick as I could. I finally got there. I blew the horn. The firemen all came running out. They had the garage door up. The firemen came to my side first, and they came to the other side. And those 5 firemen got your mother out, and they laid your mother down on the concrete, and they started artificial insemination. And with that, Brenda goes, like that. And the dad goes, yeah, first one, and then the next. They kind of rotate it and stuff. He goes, man, they were sweating, honey. They were working so hard. And Brenda's going like this. And when I think it can't get any worse, the minister leans over and he goes, Brenda, let it out. I just took a gamble. I said, she needs air. And I grabbed her shoulders and we go out and I slammed the door shut with my foot and we go to room across the hall. And she busts out laughing. She goes, oh my God. My dad said that 5 firemen started artificial insemination on my mom. I know. She goes, I just want to say, go Mom. Together and stuff. She goes, the funeral home won't be able to get the smile off her face. God, we got better. And that happened years ago, and I still see Brenda every once in a while, and we'll pass each other in the hall with a patient or whatever, and she goes, go Mom. And I said, go Mom. And you know what? I mean, there's a lot of sadness, a lot of heartache, but I have to tell you something, and I'm not preaching to you. I firmly believe in divine intervention in nursing. And you know what? We see a lot of tragedy and a lot of heartache, a lot of really, really sad things that nobody else sees. Do you know less than 3% of the population have ever seen a person die? And think about how many people we've seen die as a nurse. And sometimes God just gives us a way to cope with it. And I think God has given nurses a sense of humor that sometimes we say is sick, but you know what? It's how we cope with it. It's what we do. So to end up here, the nurse asks the question, are you sexually active? Here are 3 of the best answers when we say, are you sexually active? Okay? Because we need to ask that before surgery and all that kind of stuff. Are you sexually active? No, I'm married. Are you sexually active? No, but my husband is. And then the best one, are you sexually active? Not really, I just lay there. I am on the show Untold Stories of the ER. I don't know if you've seen that or not. It's on TLC, and you should be very impressed because I'm on the same channel, Honey Boo Boo was on. So let me just tell you, but I'm the first nurse to be on that show, and they contacted me and they heard me do a lecture on bizarre spectacular cases. And these 2 producers, young producers, came to it. And when it was done, I thought it was a joke when they first contacted me. They said, you know, we enjoyed your talk and that kind of stuff, but they said, we can't use you on the show. And I said, oh, okay, well, you contacted me. Why can't you use me? And they said, because we only use doctors on the show. And I said, oh, okay, I don't know why they didn't see RN behind my name or whatever. So I'm not a doctorally prepared nurse either. So. And I said, well, why do you only use doctors? And they said, well, you know, doctors know a little bit more about like what all's going on in the hospital and how things are run and stuff like that. And I said, well, you know what, you can use them, but could I just tell you something? And so I said, actually we went and had a drink. And I said, this is what I do, it's your choice. And they said, well, we'll give you a try. So that was 7 episodes. A lot of the episodes are that you, this is the most popular one about a man who put his penis inside a Coleman stove and it got stuck. Okay. Oh yeah, And then but a lot of episodes are filmed, they're filmed out of sequence from what you see them. And my very first day of filming, they had the doctor go into the ER, into the room, and get the patient up and dressed in a wheelchair and wheel him out to the car to be discharged. They had the doctor do that. I said, oh, hell no. I said, I don't want my doctor going out there. This is not what happens at all. So anyway, finally, you know, we always say, kind of leave the profession in a better way than when you found it. And I really give a lot of credence to like nursing history and what nurses have done before us. Our hospital celebrated its 150th anniversary a few years ago. It used to have a nursing school, and so The two younger girls in there are wearing uniforms. On the right is a student uniform with the cape that nurses used to wear, and then the other nurse, who's the graduate nurse with the black stripe and stuff, is the graduate. And actually that nurse, the younger nurse with the black stripe, that is my daughter actually, and she is really good. Isn't she These four ladies were all graduates of that school. And you know, I just think about, there are nurses in this room who very well remember if a doctor walked into a nurse's station, that nurse had to give up their seat. They also had to give them the chart. They probably also could never tell them exactly what they felt about a patient, right or wrong. And they probably had to go get them a cup of coffee, and they also probably had to light their cigarette for them and get them an ashtray. And so you think about what nurses have done before us and stuff, and I really give a lot of credit for that. And the two ladies on the right graduated like in 1952, and when they came up to them, they came up and they said, "Hey, can we get a selfie?" And the girls go, "Yes, you can get a selfie, that's all right." So they got that. So anyway, but I really give a lot of credit to that. So two of the best compliments you can give another nurse are, two of the best compliments you can say to another nurse are, number one, "I like working with you." And the second one is, "You can take care of me or my family any day." That is the height of a professional compliment that people, you can clap, that's all right. Because that means a lot, because we sure as hell know those that we don't want to take care of, as Galen kind of mentioned before. So if laughter in the often grueling moments of life maintains our sanity for even one more minute, sorry, then it is well worth it. So here's my contact information. I have a Facebook page if you want to, it's Terry Foster RN if you want to like that. I don't put political things on there, but I put funny nursing stuff on there, like the lady who called the emergency room a couple weeks ago because the day before she had swallowed an ice cube whole, and she was worried because the next day she still hadn't passed it. Again, you can't make this stuff up. So thank you very much. I'm sorry you didn't know it, but I think you're all thank you. You guys take a picture of No, that's all right. I'll take it. We'll get some more here. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, I can't take it now. Hold on. It's not good. I'll get one later. I don't think it will. See where it says it's...
You used all your photos.
Okay, make that. Why'd you... Is it because I have some on there I shouldn't? Okay, so go ahead. I didn't mean to take it.
No, you're doing nice jobs here, you guys. We are going to try to trend. So if you guys would use the hashtag #NursesTakeCC, there are 3 CEUs that are going to go along with credit hours that are going to go along with this. We'll be a follow-up email with the survey. You guys know how to all use that. There has been, I just wanted to make a quick thank you to some people here that